Everybody, I just started the recording. My name is Stacy Klein. I'm the Orange County CUE Board Secretary, and I'm a teacher in the amazing Santa Ana Unified School District. I teach STEAM and robotics and coding and love every second of it with our kiddos. Santa Ana has completely pivoted to hybrid learning. We are definitely a Nearpod district and a Google for Education district and Canvas, and it's all working just beautifully. I'm so impressed. So without further ado, let me please introduce Marcel Labrador and Corey Bess, our wonderful, wonderful Nearpod presenters and Flocabulary. Yay!
Yay! Thanks for having us, Stacy. So nice to have you supporting us today, and Marcel and I are so excited. We are going to show you all great things Nearpod, but we're also going to be telling this group things that hardly anyone else in the nation knows about updates in Nearpod. And we're also going to be giving you a 6-month gold code for being a part of this presentation. So Marcel is going to show you how to get that, and we'll get through that. And Marcel is going to kick us off here. So thanks for being here.
Yes, thank you so much, Corey and Stacy. We are so excited to be here. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And once I share my screen, if you are brand new to Nearpod, don't get overwhelmed. I'll walk you through it. But the cool thing about Nearpod is that it makes everything more engaging and more interactive. So we're going to actually ask you guys to participate with us here today. So if you could join our Nearpod lesson, that would be ideal. And I'll make sure to walk you through the multiple ways in which you can join a lesson, but also how you as a teacher can kind of push out any assignment through Nearpod and also walk your students through how they can join your lesson as well. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And if you guys are Nearpod gurus already, what you're probably seeing looks quite familiar to you. So you're going to see that when it comes to Nearpod, anytime you launch a lesson in your Nearpod library, you're going to see that it's going to prompt your students or your attendees and participants to either open up a new tab and go to join.nearpod.com. And when you do that, it'll ask you to actually type in this 5-character code, and it is not case sensitive. But sneak peek, what you can do that makes it a lot easier, specifically for those students who might not be the most proficient at typing. Typing join.nearpod.com is kind of hard for the little ones. So what I love so much about Nearpod is that it integrates with a lot of learning management systems. So if you utilize Google Classroom, Remind, Microsoft Teams, Clever, Canvas, Class Dojo, Schoology, you can push out any Nearpod assignment through that LMS, having your students just click on a super simple hyperlink through their assignments tab. Or right now, since all of us are not in an LMS, what I can do is just simply click on this hyperlink here, copy it, and then paste it right into our chat box. So if you guys are familiar with Zoom and you know where the chat box is, go ahead and you can click on that hyperlink. Thank you so much, Stacy. You're the absolute best for providing that code and the Nearpod, join.nearpod.com URL. And so you have 2 options, really 3, but for today, 2 options, because I don't have an account to an LMS. So, okay, now that you guys are hopefully in the Nearpod lesson, what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually walk you through the same thing. So what I've got here is the teacher screen. That's exactly what it'll look like for you as a teacher when you're pushing out an assignment and walking your students through joining your lesson. But what I also have here is a different tab that I'm going to actually show you the student paced and teacher paced perspectives of Nearpod side by side. So I'm going to go to nearpod.com. Oh, that's not how you spell it. Nearpod.com. I'm going to enter in that 5-character code. Please note that at any point in time, if your students are coming in late to your class, they can always find that Nearpod code in the upper left-hand corner. So again, not case sensitive, INA4. I'm going to press enter. Here at Nearpod, we're trying to make it as efficient and effective as possible for you guys to just dive into your content. We know that time is of the essence, and we don't get that much time with our students, specifically now that we are doing a lot of blended and remote learning. So what you're going to see is that my name is already pre-populated. If you guys have an SSO, so Google Single Sign-On or Microsoft Single Sign-On, you can definitely turn that on, in which case it will automatically populate your students' names so that they can just simply click join. And now, boom, we are in my lesson. Hopefully you guys are seeing right now that I have taken you out of this virtual environment and we are actually on a beach in Tahiti. That's where I really want to be. I'm in Nebraska, to be quite honest, and it's really snowy and very cold. I'm visiting my parents. But in my mind here at CUE, I'm right here in a Tahiti beach. So as you can see, we've got a virtual reality partnership with 360 Cities. If I choose to go virtual reality mode, I can pretend that I'm wearing my goggles. You can also, again, escape out of that. And then as you can see on the left-hand side, I have got my teacher's perspective and I'm going to show you the differences. But on the right-hand side, it's almost as if we're in an actual physical classroom setting and I'm projecting my lesson onto the projector, but instead it's on every single one of your guys' devices. So again, our partnership with 360 Cities, you're going to see, provides you guys with the opportunity to actually embed over 350,000 virtual reality destinations. And you're going to see later today with Corey that you can utilize these in all subjects, all grade levels, to build schema, to bring in real world relevance to the classroom, and of course, just to have some fun like right now in Tahiti. So welcome, welcome. Thank you so much for having us here. We are so excited about this magical mystery TechFest. The first thing I want to know about you guys is just your familiarity with Nearpod. So go ahead and let me know. There's no right or wrong answer. I want to just make sure I can cater and customize this specific session to your guys' needs. And what you're seeing is that this is the beauty of Nearpod. We actually embed formative assessments, check for understandings, really wonderful, engaging media.
How you guys doing?
In order
doing
to
okay?
In order to be able to receive that real-time feedback, we are trying to make teaching and learning, no matter the learning environment, a two-way street of communication from teachers to students and students to teachers, right? And then of course, the beauty of that is that not only do students get to participate and engage, but on top of that, once they submit their answer, the teacher gets that real-time feedback right now, really driving their daily instruction when it comes to pivoting if necessary, or of course, going on schedule with their created lesson. So as you can see, we've got a lot of wonderful, I've used it a few times, 42% of us, but I'm going to go ahead and press the share button. And when I share that button out, what you will see on the student's perspective is that you get the immediate feedback as a student. So not only do you know what you answered, I've used it a few times, but you also get to see as a class collectively where you lie with the rest of your peers. So again, imagining that maybe this wasn't necessarily a poll asking what your familiarity is in Nearpod, but maybe your familiarity with fractions right before we dive into a fractions unit today, tomorrow, or even next week. And then what I like to make sure I highlight at the very beginning of all of our sessions, as a former high school teacher, taking notes was very, very important for my students to be able to utilize those notes going back when they were kind of doing the rest of their classwork, either at home or after school. So I want to make sure that I highlight that as a student, you always have the opportunity to take notes within the Nearpod platform. Okay, so there's no need to have multiple tabs. There's no need to lose your notes per se. Instead, what you can do as a student is in the upper right-hand corner, you will see a notepad and a pen. If you can't see it, let us know in the chat box, and I'm sure that we will be able to support you. And then you've got the option to send this actual deck. So I encourage you guys to do it. If you want this specific presentation deck, you can have it. It's yours to refer back to. You can send it to yourself via email. You can save it to your Google Drive or your OneDrive. And then I'm going to go ahead and model saving it to my email. There's my email digits if you guys want it, just kidding. And then of course, when I press send, you'll now be able to start typing notes throughout today's session. And then of course, at the end of the session, this deck, along with your notes attached, will be emailed to you so that you can always refer back to it. Whenever you want to minimize the notes section, simply just click on that notepad and pen once more. And now what you're seeing is that you are back to maximizing the teacher's lesson or the slide on your device. A couple other things as we kind of want to give some wait time for our participants to be able to add their email in that I want to show you is that we have an integration with Microsoft Immersive Reader. And so what that means is that no matter your students or the learning environment, we want to make sure that we're supporting them when it comes to any type of scaffolding, differentiation, and support that they might need. So again, I taught high school. A little bit more about me. I taught high school foreign language and also supported the EL students at my school. And so this immersive reader icon, all students have access to it. And when they click on it, what it will do is whenever your lesson has text on a slide, it will automatically allow them to do text-to-speech support. So they can press play. I encourage you to go ahead and press play if you choose to, and it will read the text aloud to you. On top of that, you have the opportunity as a student to change the settings. Maybe you want to slow it down. It's a little too fast for me. Maybe I want a male voice instead of a female voice. And on top of that, in the upper right-hand corner, when you click on the reading preferences option, you now get the choice to actually translate any text in your Nearpod lesson to over 40 plus languages. So I taught Spanish. I'm a little biased, so we're going to go with Spanish, and I'm going to put document. And now what you're seeing is that it has completely translated all of the text in this lesson and has enabled me to be able to have text-to-speech support in my targeted language that I'm learning and or my native language as well. Perfect. All righty. So we're going to go ahead and keep going forward. And so now that we've experienced our immersive reader, we've experienced our notes, we've experienced a poll, I want to just hear a little bit more from you guys utilizing our Collaborate board. So again, we're all educators here, maybe administrators, maybe we've dabbled in a little bit of both. But what we want, hopefully, is that all of us are able to kind of leave here today feeling like they're supported by Nearpod to really engage their students in their classrooms, no matter the content, grade level or subject. So what we're going to do is this is our Collaborate board. As you can see here with our Collaborate board, it's prompting me as the teacher to see if I want to approve student comments before they're posted. So again, as a former high school teacher, I'm like, eek, probably yes, but for right now, I trust you all. I'm going to say no. And this is a wonderful way to just have a really wholesome classroom discussion. So go ahead and let me know when you enter a classroom, what do you want to see going on in that classroom? Learning, yay. Sorry guys, really quickly, my internet's just kind of like being a little slow. There we go, perfect. Learning, students collaborating, engagement and excitement, active participation, yes. Happy students, yes. Passion, smiles, happy students, fun. Okay, whoever this is, ding, 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 you get extra points because you are a Nearpod guru. Absolutely. If you've noticed, not only as a student do you get to participate in a Collaborate board with written responses, but you also have the opportunity to utilize this Google Safe Search icon down below and add images. I'm going to go with this one. I'm going to press save. I'm going to submit, post my submission. And what I also want to highlight to you guys is just, again, very small differences between the teacher's perspective and the student's perspective. But as you can see on the left hand or the right hand side is the student's perspective, where I'm able to see as a student all of my peers' posts. Wow, we're collaborating. I'm getting ideas. Ooh, look at all these awesome images. Oh my gosh, I love that. So as I'm looking, I'm not noticing who's posting what, but instead, I'm actually just getting all of my students' thoughts, opinions, questions, feedback completely anonymously. So again, this is a safe space. We are providing a safe space for all students to be able to participate, striving for 100% engagement and participation. But on the flip side, on the left-hand side, I've got the teacher's perspective where I'm actually able to see all of my students' submissions, just like students can, but it is showing me student names attached as well. So again, as the teacher, you have the autonomy to decide if you want to share your screen. Once you do share your screen, you also are able to either show student names or in the lower right-hand corner, you can hide student names as well, in which case if you're keeping the complete anonymity on both sides, both student and teacher perspective. Thanks so much for sharing, guys. Awesome job. So again, now that we've experienced about 2 of our 20+ ways to enhance instruction and bring that engagement into your classroom walls or virtual classroom walls, I do want to just make sure that we're highlighting, because we are short on time today, we will not unfortunately get to maybe see every single enhanced formative assessment for interaction and engagement or media that we have for you guys to embed into your lessons. But I do want to just show you, this is what we had last year, pre-pandemic. And then throughout 2020, based off of your guys' teacher input, we constantly took that feedback and we just enhanced our platform to make it better and better for you guys. So as you can see, we've experienced the Collaborate board, we've experienced our poll feature. We also are going to, in a short while with Corey, go through a mock lesson where you're going to be able to see so much more, such as our matching pairs, our open-ended questions, the opportunity for all of our students, again, promoting equity and autonomy and giving all students student voice to be able to audio respond to you in real time, not just written response. But you're also going to see that when it comes to our media, the aspects of our platform that really enhance that teaching and engaging is going to be our virtual reality field trips that you just saw, Flocabulary videos. If you teach algebra or high school math, we've got an integration with Desmo's graphing calculators, PhET simulations for both math and science, K through 12th grade. And then of course, web content, which I always like showing because as a former high school teacher, there's so many platforms out there, so many articles, websites that I want my students to be able to interact with, that you can just simply embed all of those websites, PDFs, platforms into your Nearpod lesson, really making us that one-stop shop so that you never have to tab out of your Nearpod lesson, really losing your students through those transitions of tab to tab to tab. So as I mentioned, that was what we had. Now I've got tons of upgrades for you, and we're super excited because things that we can't even write down, I'm going to verbally let you know, are here to come. So this is what we've gotten from you. This was feedback that you guys gave us throughout all of 2020 since March. And so slowly over time, we've been rapidly trying to get as many new enhanced upgrades features to our platform to best utilize a Nearpod in any given circumstance, depending on your guys' learning and teaching environments currently. So what we've got here, as you can see, tons of great upgrades and some that you aren't able to actually see written here, but I'm going to be able to show you, is our newest whiteboard. So really quickly, what I'm going to do is I'm going to click this whiteboard tab on the teacher's end, and let's pretend I want to re-teach a specific concept. My students did not understand it, so we're going to reteach it. I'm going to press the whiteboard and boom. Now what you can see is I am now able to start teaching my concepts. We're talking about love here today, sorry. And my wonderful writing skills. Maybe some SEL is necessary today. And so what I'm doing is I am teaching to you in real time. I am projecting my whiteboard on every single one of my students' devices. And then again, when we are ready and I've retaught that content, I can exit out. And maybe now we go back to the activity and I just clicked the annotation button. So now what I can do is I can say, wow, everyone, amazing job. I love how everyone's participating. Again, I'm making a fake lesson right now. Oh my gosh, distance learning is difficult. Tell me how I can support you. Maybe we want to bring in that love one more time because I just like to spread the OCCUE love. But at the end of the day, what you're going to see is you can annotate, you can highlight on any slide that you've added to your specific Nearpod lesson. And when you are done, really emphasizing what you've wanted to kind of show your students, you can exit out again and move on with your lesson. Okay, so those are two really exciting upgrades that we have. The last upgrade I'm going to tell you that I cannot yet show you because it's not even here, drum roll please, is co-teaching. So now we have got co-teaching coming your way early 2021. We will be able to have you guys co-teach together. We have known that that is the biggest request of all time and it is on its way to you. So please know with co-teaching, not only are you able to teach a specific lesson to a group of students together, but you'll also have two teachers being able to receive real-time insight on both of your guys' individual Nearpod teacher accounts. On top of that, a little bit that I want to show and highlight is not only do we, again, integrate with LMSs like Canvas, Clever, Microsoft, Schoology, etc., but what we also want to make sure that you know is when it comes to Google Classroom, not only are we able to save our notes in the Google Drive, but also push anything out through Google Classroom. We also have a Nearpod add-on when it comes to creation in Google Slides. So at any point in time, if you have pre-created content, either in Google Slides or even PowerPoint, Microsoft, I want to let you guys know that we have an integration that allows for you guys to enhance your already pre-created content that you've used for years in the past, simply by utilizing our Google Slides Nearpod add-on, or by dropping in your PowerPoint into the Nearpod platform and then slowly adding in all of those formative assessments and engaging media. So here we are really quickly. I just want to kind of give you a quick overview of all that we've done since we started back in 2012. That's where Nearpod started here. This is our ecosystem of how we've evolved. We evolved from not only just providing formative assessments and media such as virtual reality field trips to you guys. And we said, hey, why not partner with what our teachers are using? So again, we've got tons of top publishers that we partner with when it comes to our lesson creation. Not only do you guys have the opportunity to kind of jazz up your pre-created content in Google Slides or PowerPoint, but we also have a lesson library with over 8,500 lessons that are standards aligned and created not only within our Nearpod content development team, but also in partnership with top publishers like Common Sense Education, Newsela, Desmos, FET, BBC Worldwide, CodeMonkey, iCivics, and even a new one for social and emotional learning that is Calm Meditation. On top of that, again, as you can see this ecosystem, this is our tech landscape, making sure that no matter what you use, even if your school is divided or your district's divided, some of you like Schoology, some of you like Google Classroom, you can definitely utilize Nearpod no matter the ed tech landscape that you are in. And then lastly, we do have an additional library that supports you with specific initiatives such as social and emotional learning, English learners, college and career exploration and readiness, and historical perspectives and literacy as well. Alrighty, so what we are experiencing right now, since you guys were just joining in on my lesson, is a live lesson. This is technically a synchronous learning experience. This is our teacher-paced mode, which means that I am actually setting the pace for us all. Every time I click this blue arrow forward or backwards, it's shifting your guys' screens as well with me. So I'm able to kind of classroom manage, set the pace, monitor my time as I please. But you also have the opposite experience where maybe you want to do a flipped classroom, or maybe you like that student-paced independent study time. You can definitely push out any lesson with your students in student-paced or asynchronously, allowing them to have that autonomy to move forward and backward as they please, as long as it's within the due date that you have created for them. All right, so I'm going to actually skip that because I know you're going to probably experience that here in a little bit, but I want to end my portion with a little bit of fun. So here's our time to climb. This is our Kahoot-like game. It's a gamified quiz. So if your guys' students love Kahoot, they will absolutely love Time to Climb. I know my high schoolers loved Time to Climb. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create and click a specific theme. I'm going to stick with underwater because, again, going with my Tahiti vibe. And I'm going to actually turn off the sound just because I'm going to be talking and explaining this specific feature to you guys while it goes. And so as I press continue, go ahead and as a student, I'll model how you can choose your avatar or character. There's more than just the first four. So make sure you really choose wisely. Just kidding. And then press the Start tab.
Marcella, can you turn show student names on? Yeah.
Yes, I got it.
I want to know who I'm racing. You know?
A little friendly competition. All righty, so here we go. I know that we've got about 33 of us in my lesson. If you're wondering how I know that, it's because it's down in the lower left-hand corner. I can actually click on here to actually identify who's in my lesson and who is not. So as we get started, we're at 24, but for time purposes, don't hate me. I'm going to give you 3 seconds. Press that start button. 3, 2, 1. And as we get started, please know, friendly competition, but the best way to win is not only with accuracy, but also speed. Speed and accuracy is what is to play when it comes to receiving the most points here. So what does the word potential mean? Here we go. We are setting the scene for what Corey's about to introduce to you in a mock lesson. We're talking potential kinetic and thermal energy. As you can see, unlike Kahoot, we do actually provide immediate feedback to the students so they actually know if they got their answer correct or incorrect. Dan is in the lead here, all right? As you can see from the teacher's perspective, I can see all of my students along with the points in which they've received, and I can observe and watch them climbing up the mountain. With time to climb, oh snap, I got that answer wrong, dang it. With time to climb, not only do you get that immediate feedback, but you also are able to, as a teacher, put answer responses that are either written text or images. So again, if you're thinking like, wow, my students can't read because I teach kindergarten, not to worry, you can definitely have specific, hot dog, obviously, specific, oh man, dang it. You can specifically put in images for your students to be able to participate as well when it comes to the answer choices. All right, here we go. I think this might be our last question. And oh, Pia is in the lead. Dan, are you coming for her or not? I don't know, but I really think that Alexis Underwood is maybe coming in. She's going to slide right in there really quickly. Corey, I'm really excited for your mock lesson here because as you can see, I have gotten only one question right. I do not understand potential, kinetic, or thermal energy. Pia, yay, woo! Go Alexis,
Well
go Dan.
done.
Virtual high five to you guys.
Yes, well done, everybody. So I know we have a hard stop. Stacy, correct me if I'm wrong, but 2:35 is my assumption. So we will definitely get as much of this wonderfulness as we can. Marcella, you're awesome. Great intro. So we're going to kind of ride this analogy of potential and kinetic energy to show off some of our features. So that's a great anticipatory set. By the way, that we all love Kahoot. We all love time to climb now. What a wonderful way to open a lesson, close a lesson. If you're running a staff meeting and you're a principal, if you're a district level leader, a wonderful way to get people engaged, friendly competition, wonderful, and just super fun, gets the blood pumping. So now that we have that, I have a good baseline. My students are thinking about potential kinetic energy. I just gave them a great quiz. By the way, Edu Protocol fans, really nice way to do Fast and the Curious. A couple of different other Edu protocols that really work well with time to climb. So now let's look at a VR. Let's take a virtual field trip like we did earlier to Tahiti. So this company is wonderful. You can throw in over 400,000 locations on Earth that are presented in this manner. Whether it's, this one's actually kind of cool because it has these skateboarders and different and bike riders in different like versions of what they're doing throughout their move. But some of them are just pictures like the one in Tahiti that we saw earlier. But I'll tell you, if I were teaching potential and kinetic energy, there's so many great ways to use this image. Now, if you have a device with an accelerometer, you'd be able to actually just move it around like this. You don't have to click and drag. So iPads, etc. It's fun to get students up walking around and they can kind of, it's like as if they are that person with that camera, right, standing there. You can use ThingLink, which we have a partnership with, and you can link up multiple of these images and create a full field trip. And our college and career content, etc., has some really great versions of that, where you're able to literally, if you want to go to Notre Dame, we're going to be to South Bend. We're going to show you the town of South Bend. We're going to put you to the steps of Notre Dame. You're going to go see the cafeteria. You're going to see a dorm room. You're going to see the, really get immersed in a field trip while sitting from your home or the classroom. So great way to start a lesson, great way to get engagement happening. Marcella showed you earlier some really interesting ways to engage your students, but also that engagement is an interaction. And because it's an interaction, I know who's paying attention and I know who's not. And that is huge. It's not a full Big Brother we're not big fans of the big brother approach to teaching and learning, right? Where you kind of have that Go Guardian where I can open your tabs and close your tabs and I can see your tabs, I can see what's happening. Really, if you push a quiz, a formative assessment, and you see that everyone answers it, you know they're there, they're engaged. And if they're not, you can go say, hey, Marcella, I noticed you haven't answered the quiz. Any way I can help you? You know, that kind of thing. So, okay, so next slide. Let's head on to, I think our next slide is PhET. Okay, so let's hop into PhET. I don't know if you've ever used PhET out of the University of Boulder, Colorado, but I suggest go ahead and click pie chart, click bar graph, and then grab your skateboarder and drop him in or her in and watch the relationship between potential and kinetic energy. So PhET is a wonderful simulation and modeling tool. If you're thinking science and you're thinking NGSS and the practices, or you're thinking the 3 dimensions of NGSS, how do we do that in a remote learning setting, specifically the practices? This is a great answer to that. There are mathematics simulations and science simulations in PhET that are phenomenal. Allow students to see how variables affect the outcome.
Corey,
And
I'm sorry, press pie chart and what else? I'm sorry.
Bar graph, grid, whatever you want. It's up to you. You know, these are just different ways that you can look at this specific simulation. And you can do that in a lot of different ways. So just wanted to show you that. I've always learned, pedagogically speaking, you want to warn your students before you move the slide with something like this, or else you're going to hear, no, I was just about to see if my skateboarder was going to fly off the ramp and now you moved it and I'm all upset and now, you know, we can't learn. So definitely warn your students. So I'm going to warn you, we're going to move it on. Here we go. Marcella, move it for us. There we go. Okay, so we're going to understand what we've observed. Next slide. This is just I put this in here because this is our PDF viewer. So I just want you to see how a PDF shows up to your students. Very clean, very crisp. This is called a slideshow. I really like this because it can get you out of this horizontal motion. It almost can allow you to create an asynchronous setting inside of a synchronous lesson. So you right now could say, you know what, students, I'm going to give you 10 minutes. Go through this, take some notes. This is the kind of the nitty gritty content, and we'll come back and take a quiz on it. So that's a great way for you to use what we call a slideshow. This could have been the entire PowerPoint you used to teach potential and kinetic energy, could sit right here, open with the time to climb, close with some quizzes and some VR. You've got a cool lesson. So I always like showing that. All right. Now let's elaborate. Let's see what we've got here. So this is, sorry, Edpuzzle, we don't hate you. Sorry, Kahoot and Quizlet and Quizzes and Padlet and you name it. We don't hate these companies. We just love teachers. And so we had to write the software or personally partner with your company so you can have access to all the data in one place. So this is our version of interactive video. So let's go ahead and do that. And what Marcella's going to do is she's going to pick teacher plays. So you're going to notice on your student screen, you're not going to be able to do anything. You now have to pay attention to Marcella's screen. She could choose to let you play it on your own as well, but we're going to do it this way. So she's going to hit continue. And now you see that there is a little dot on her play bar at the bottom, and that's an assessment. So this was just a random video from YouTube that we pulled in, and now we can break it up with assessments that all of this data will drive into your reports inside of Nearpod. So go ahead and push play, and you can speed it up a little bit. Marcella. Just put it up to almost to the, yeah. So we'll see.
All of the potential energy is converted into kinetic energy and comes down with tremendous force.
Just write anything. Don't worry about it. I know we didn't see the video. Just for fun here, you're going to answer, and you're going to notice that when you push submit on Marcella's screen, she starts to see your answers populating, and she knows what percentage of us are doing this. So as we get closer here, Marcella's going to know who's paying attention and who's playing Call of Duty right now, right? And she can quickly say, hey, Corey, you're playing Call of Duty, come on back with us, because she's seeing these populate. And by the way, if she hit hide student names, she can not allow for that to be seen. So now you don't know who said force, and so on. It's still somewhat anonymous. It's a safe place for me to be wrong. No one else is going to know it's my answer. And she can also hit share with the class. So if she likes that, now we see this student's answer. So we now can, get going and share and collaborate amongst one another. So great feature. Okay, let's keep going here. This is awesome. I'll give us like 30 seconds to play. Zoom in, zoom out, click around. This is another really wonderful partner that we have that allows us, you name it, animal cell, plant cell, bodily systems like the circulatory system or the chambers of the heart, pyramids, the cars. All of them are presented in this way that allows students to really engage in what they're learning in a very unique way. All right, next one. Okay, I want to spend a second here because this is important. This is, in my opinion, a game changer. What Marcella is about to do for us, she's gonna click all devices, because this is an open-ended question coming our way. And in the open-ended question, you are going to see a video. You're going to see that you can have the question read to you using Immersive Reader in over 40 different languages. You can then answer with your voice. So the fact that you can have this read to you, you can see a video, you can see, and then you can answer with your own voice. We took care of our K, first, second, third, fourth graders, our English learners that are newcomers, students with exceptional needs, our Harvard-bound students. We asked them to type their answer and provide rationale with their voice. DOK 1, 2, 3, and 4, all through an open-ended question. So I love this feature. And then similarly, when we are finished, we can share out what the responses were with the rest of the class. Just like all of our assessments allow for collaborative opportunities. And sure enough, here it is. So I think that I'm just a huge fan of the OEQ. I just think it's phenomenal. The fact that you can embed a website, a PDF, an image, a video in the question and have it read to you. You could actually record your own voice reading that question, and this student will hear your voice reading it to you. Amazing opportunities. So, okay, next slide. Sorry, I'm going a little fast. I know we have time is short here. Okay, randomly select on this one. I just want to show you how quizzes work in this setting. So just go ahead and randomly select any of these options and then move through. As we're doing this, the teacher is seeing in real time what we're answering. And this is not only important for the teacher, because the teacher now is, Marcella is assessing herself. If she's the teacher here, there's a lot of red. We have a lot of work to do. We're not where we need to be. We're not even close, but the students don't yet know. So in about 3 seconds, if you haven't finished getting through all of them, Marcella's going to hit share. Go ahead and hit that. Now you can see how you did as a student in this quiz. And now Marcella can help drive instruction. So I'm going to ask Marcella to move through all the slides. So if you get seasick, turn your head away, because she's going to move through all the slides so you can get to your gold code. We're not going to be able to make it through all the cool
I don't mean
yeah.
to interrupt, but it's most likely Jorge's going to do a hard stop, and he's going to
Yep.
That's
No problem. So right here, I wanted to make sure you have a contact slide if you want more information. Francis Aquino is one of my awesome team members here in Southern California. And then the next slide is your gold code. You are now in the possession of a gold code for 6 months of Nearpod. So, so yeah, go ahead and check that out and enjoy it. Thanks for everything you do. Thanks for the support you have for students. And in these crazy times, we really appreciate you. And I think we're all probably moving on out of here. So thanks everybody for your time. And
okay, right, Jorge, you can't do a breakout with